Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we're going to be having a little bit of a look at what we think Reshiram and Charizard Tag Team GX is going to do. Let's be 100% clear and transparent at the beginning of the video. This is not a card that's been revealed yet, but it is a card that we know is coming. We have seen, well, I mean, they say dummy artwork, but it looks pretty much like final artwork to me, for Double Blaze. That is, of course, the Sun and Moon 10 set over in Japan, which is going to form the bulk, though not all, of Unbroken Bonds when it comes out over here. This is going to be our May set, which is released on the first Friday of May, if you really want the date. Friday the 3rd of May, 12 days before the baby Daisy officially turns 1, just in case anyone was wondering. So, we think this card is going to be revealed in the not too distant future. Full Metal Wall has now completely been revealed, so it's only a matter of time before they start revealing Sun and Moon 10 Double Blaze, and generally they tend to release the Tag Team GXs slightly earlier than a lot of the other cards. So we haven't done a prediction video in a while, and I know a bunch of people like my prediction videos, so let's have a look at what we think it does. Shout out to the lovely Hitmondrew over on Twitter for making this little mock-up of the artwork. Obviously this is not official artwork. It is just an artist rendering, a very good artist, incidentally. In terms of HP, we can expect it to have a fairly large HP. One of the things which I find very interesting is we've got a Stage 2 and a big legendary Pokemon. Something like Celebi and Venusaur, well, that's a Stage 2 and a tiny little baby legendary. So it's not that particularly great in terms of expecting HP, and that ended up at 270. I mean, generally speaking, the closest we've got here is Sylveon and Gardevoir Tag Team GX, which has a Stage 2 and a Stage 1, or indeed Greninja and Zoroark Tag Team GX, which has a Stage 2 and a Stage 1. But Charizard is usually a much beefier card than Gardevoir. I mean, if we compare them, right, Greninja GX 230 HP, Gardevoir 230 HP, Charizard 250 HP. Similarly, we can have a little bit of a look at the other parts, and you know, Zoroark 210 and Sylveon 200, but then we've got Reshiram, which was up at 180. So fair to assume it's going to have a fairly redonkulously beefy amount of HP. We're probably going to be looking up around 260. Cool. It's going to be a big boy. And it's going to be a fire Pokemon. Now, this means it's going to have expensive attacks. We'll look at a few Reshiram and Charizard in a minute to try and figure this out. But fire means you're going to have access to Kiawe. Search your deck for 4 fire energy and attach them. Or in fact, Reshiram GX, whose GX attack does 180 damage and allows you to attach 5 fire energy from your hand to your Pokemon. And if you're worried about getting the fire energy in your hand, please don't forget that Fiery Flint is a thing, which allows you to discard 2 cards from your hand and search for 4 basic fire energy. When I'm playing a fire deck, and one of the things I am testing for the Birmingham Regional Championships is Flareon with Reshiram, when I'm playing fire decks lately, my preferred kind of turn 1 is Kiawe onto Reshiram, try and take a big KO with a Vermilion GX so that I can then accelerate energy onto other things. Now with Flareon that's a bit awkward because you've actually got a really good GX attack, single energy, 20 damage for each fire energy in the discard, so it's up to you whether you think it's worth it, but largely I am a big fan of the Kiawe Reshiram combination. So the good news is that no matter what the attack cost is here, we're going to be able to pay it. I mean, not too long ago, and I'll pop a link to this in the description, we had a look at Charizard GX. No, not the one we've had for a while, the upcoming one which is going to be featured as part of the Detective Pikachu set. And that's got 250 HP, and 5 energy 200 or 5 energy 250, discard 1 energy from each of your opponent's Pokemon. And that is, or at least it should be, prohibitively expensive. Although my conclusion, spoiler alert, for that card was essentially, it's a little bit expensive, even with all the help we've got. let's make no mistake about the fact that it is still not that difficult compared to other typings. If we look at something like Grass at the moment, pretty much the best option we've got is using Venusaur from Shining Legends to double up your energy. And in fact, I showed you a Buzzwole and Pheromosa Tag Team GX deck probably yesterday, depending on when these got uploaded. I'll pop a link to that one in the description. And essentially, that was what they had. They used Venusaur, because Venusaur was essentially their only option here, which in a way is a little bit sad. Fire decks are way better. And while we're talking fire decks here, there are a couple of other tricks that you should always be thinking about, and that is, of course, Heat Factory Prism Star. Lets you discard a card from your hand and draw 3 cards. Little bit nuts good. As well as Victini Prism Star, which allows you, and it's weirdly similar to Flareon's GX attack, for 2 fire energy, 20 damage for each fire energy in your discard pile, except actually Victini, it's any basic energy, and then you shuffle them all into your deck. So Victini's pretty good in a fire deck. So again, when we do these prediction videos, I don't know what the attacks are going to do, but it does mean we get a little bit more time to dig through the tricks that particular typings have. And fire decks at the moment, I mean, look, when you look at Pokemon cards, you can start to figure out themes. The fact that Fiery Flint lets you search for 4 energy, the fact that Heat Factory discards an energy and then you draw 3, the fact that Kiawe attaches 4 from your deck, the fact that both Victini and Flareon have attacks revolving around how many energy are in your discard, basically is Pokemon's way of telling you, look, if you're playing a fire deck, your attacks are going to be extremely expensive, and you're going to be discarding a whole bunch of energy. It's why we had Burning Energy, and in fact we still do in the expanded format, whereby if you would discard a fire energy, you can nominate this, and then you don't actually discard an energy. So that's basically what we should be expecting here. It's probably going to be a high attack cost, but it's probably also going to have to discard energy. So essentially, the more you discard, the lower the energy cost. Look, I know Flareon is neither Reshiram nor Charizard, right? I am fully aware of this. But Flareon does 190 for free energy, but you've got to discard 2 of them. Whereas the new Charizard GX does 200 for 5 energy, but there's more colourless in there and you don't have to discard them. Now, pretty much the best Reshiram we've ever had was the one that was reprinted like 27 times, which had Blue Flare. 120 damage for free energy, discard 2 energy attached to this Pokemon. 120 back then was a very relevant number, and to be blunt, it became the best deck in the format when we combined it with Typhlosion, and it made top 4 at Worlds that year. I don't think it got further than top 4. I could be wrong, but it definitely made at least top 4. It was a great deck. And we can also look at some other cards. I mean, let's take the Dragon-type Reshiram, which is, well, it came around a little while ago in Roaring Skies, which incidentally had a really nice ability, which let you attach a fire energy to one of your dragon Pokemon if it was in the active from your hand, 110 for 4 energy, and discard a fire energy attached to Reshiram. Which was, you know, fairly interesting, not a bad little card at all. And even, you know, the most recent Reshiram we've had was the one that came around in Shining Legends, which interestingly enough kept the Outrage attack from the black and white one. So maybe we could have an Outrage style attack here. Certainly that's been something that Reshiram has been known to do. It also did 130 for free energy and couldn't attack the following turn. So there is a possibility here we get an Outrage style attack owing to the fact that we've got the Reshiram rolling here. If we switch our attention to Charizard quickly, we can see that we've got a very similar thing. Charizard generally has very high HP, Charizard generally does an awful lot of damage, and Charizard generally has to discard some energy, or at least attach a lot of energy in order to do a whole bunch of damage. The most recent Charizard we got was literally just revealed in Team Up, as in like on Friday, and they attack 30 damage, discard as many fire energy as are attached to Charizard, 50 more for each one you discard. We had the one not too long ago in Evolutions, 200 for 4 energy, discard free energy. Yes, of course, that was essentially a reprint of the one from base set. We had the one in Dragon Majesty, 130 for free energy, and you have to discard one of them. And then, of course, there is the Charizard GX that did 300 damage for 5 energy, and you discarded 3 of them. So we can expect this to be a fire type, which will incidentally be the first fire type Tag Team GX we've had. We can expect it to have a very high HP, higher than your average Tag Team GX, because you've got a big Stage 2 and a big Basic. That should add up. I mean, honestly, I would expect it to at least match Celebi and Venusaur and Eevee and Snorlax at 270. It could well end up second only to Magikarp and Wailord. Cannot say for certain, but my prediction would be minimum 270 damage here. Well, 270 HP, 270 damage needed to KO it. And it's probably going to have attacks which are huge and expensive and involve discarding. But like I've said, we've got some options for fire Pokemon to either get the energy on or indeed take advantage of the energy after it's been discarded. The other thing which we hope, at least I hope we're going to be getting, though we cannot ever guarantee this, I really want an Outrage style attack. That would make me very happy indeed. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so that's what we know, that's what we can see, but I would very much like to know your predictions about this card. We know this card is coming, it is definitely coming, so tell me what you think it's going to do in the comment section. Go nuts! But please do remember the most important rule as always, be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at TheWossy, where we talk about, well, Pokemon and other things. If you want live action, head over to twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. And if you want to support the channel, get weekly bonus pods, and even tell me which videos I have to make, then patreon.com/PTCG Radio is a place to do so. And do please make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WossyPlays, where we talk about non-Pokemon games. But have a lot of fun. And then, of course, by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.